Alright everyone, welcome back to another video. Last time we left off showing this big artillery piece and the German armies joining the Italians in Albania. Also, just as a little update, we're almost done with this book. Can you believe that? It's getting close here. We've gotten through a lot of book 1 here. There's still 3 more books, so. The Greek army surrenders, April 22nd, 1941. End of a brave struggle. The Greek army of Epirus and Macedonia surrendered at Larissa on the afternoon of April 22nd, after a heroic fight against greatly superior German and Italian forces, and signed on armistice with the Italian commander. On the same day, the Greek king and government left the mainland for Crete. Top General Sloakoglu, sorry, that's probably wrong, signs the armistice documents placed before him by German staff officers below. Greek soldiers of the Epirot army with an out-of-date field piece, typical of the weapons of which they had for so long held the Italians, but which availed little against the superior equipment of the Nono Germans. Oh boy. So there we see that Greek general signing the armistice and surrendering. And look at that. Yeah, that gun piece is a little out of date. And if this is, as they say here, what they only had, really, yeah, no wonder they didn't work. The garrison at Tobruk holds out. April 25th, 1941. Germans attack desert garrison. Although the British were obliged to abandon most of the territory they had captured in Libya, they managed to hold the strategically important town of Tobruk. Supplied with food and munitions by sea, the garrison beat off repeated enemy attacks in one of which is on April 25th. They captured 2 officers and 125 men, besides killing and wounding many others. These pictures, taken inside the Tobruk defense, show above an AA gun team behind a barricade of munition boxes as on the watch for Nono German bombers. Below, a British transport unloading food and munitions for the defenders. So there we see that AA gun emplacement and all the men, they are watching for any German bombers. Yeah, they want to make sure that they can shoot them down, that they can defend Tobruk. And Tobruk is held very valiantly for quite a while. And here we see all the munitions and supplies being dropped off to these men so that they can hold this defense. German troops occupy Corinth and Greek islands. April 25th to 27th, 1941. Nono Germans tighten their grip on Greece. The Anglo-Greek forces were compelled to fall back as heavy reinforcements of German troops and equipment supported by dive bombers in vast numbers poured into northern Greece. Whole regiments of Germans were cut down in rearguard actions as the British and Greek withdrew to shorter defensive lines. On April 25th, the famous pass of Thermopylae was taken after heroic resistance by Anzac troops. On the same day, German troops occupied Lemnos and other Greek islands. On April 26th, they took Thebes, and on the 27th, parachute troops occupied the town and isthmus of Corinth. These pictures, the pictures shown above, boatloads of Nono Germans being hauled from the Greek mainland to occupy Ibuya. I don't know how to pronounce that. I very much apologize. Below left, German motorcyclists passing through Corinth, and right, Nono German paratroopers in action. So there we see the boatloads of Germans heading to the Greek islands. They're going to take them. Greece falls. But they do put up a great defense, and they fight for every little inch of land. Here we see those motorcyclists driving on through Corinth. And here we see the parachute troopers, or the paratroopers, in action. German victory parade in the shadow of the Acropolis. April 27th, 1941. No Germans in Greek capital. Though Athens itself was not the victim of an attack by Germany, possibly in view of the RAF's warning that such an exploit would be followed by the bombing of Rome, its suburbs were target for the Luftwaffe on April 22nd and 25th. The occupation of the capital on 27th was celebrated by a parade of Germans and Italian troops, left German above and Italian below, motorized detachments saluting General List. Right, German infantry marching with the Acropolis in the background. There we see the Germans. There's the Italians, all going by General List. And there we see, and there's the Acropolis up there. Yeah, it's lucky for us to say that they didn't bomb the Acropolis or much of Athens and things like that. This civilization is old. You know, the Acropolis is so ancient. If they would have bombed it, it would have been a huge loss for world history and the world in general. And if they would have, then we would have lost a lot of Rome too, which is just... that would have been abysmal. To think of all the destruction that would have been wrought because these people were just so power hungry. Luckily that didn't happen, but still. British and Imperial troops evacuated from Greece reach Egypt. April 27th to 30th, 1941. Heroes of the Greek withdrawal back in Africa. The British troops operating in Greece were nearly all seasoned veterans of the campaign in Africa. They had been mainly drawn from the Army of the Nile and, on their evacuation, returned to Egypt. The picture above shows a transport load of Anzac and British Tommies who have just landed at an Egyptian port after the heroic rearguard flight and hazardous crossing of the Mediterranean. They are resting on the docks and appear to be a little affected by the grueling experiences they have just undergone. I mean, look at them. They're all waving at the camera saying, "Hey, thank you." But they do look a little tired. I mean, there's got his smoke. But yeah, they did have a good rear guard in Greece, but sadly the Brits just couldn't hold out forever. Or the Greeks. RAF rolls in the withdrawal from Greece. April 27th to 30th, 1941. Air Force help in Greek withdrawal. Magnificent work was done during the evacuations by the RAF flying boats, which picked up heavy loads of airmen and others from outlying stations from which they could not have reached the embarkation points. One boat took off a load of 72 men, fighting off an enemy attack during its journey. Above, RAF personnel being rowed to a Sunderland flying boat. Below, RAF ground staff assembling in trucks to be taken to a port for embarkation. Yeah, these flying boats were pretty helpful. They helped get a lot of troops out when, like they said, when they couldn't have otherwise. They would have been left to either be captured or die. And here we see those airmen on their embarkation, heading towards embarkation points. How the Germans forced the downfall of Greece. April 6th to 30th, 1941. The timetable for Greece. Germany's occupation of Romania and Bulgaria and Yugoslavia's refusal to join the Axis hastened the attack upon Greece. The German advance across the Vader? I don't know, sure. To Montusel, Montesir? Monastir? I'm not sure. Monastir. I don't know. And Salonika. In Salonika. Yugoslavia was isolated, and the Greeks in Albania were threatened. British help could not prevent the Nono-Germans from reaching Ioannina and forcing the surrender of the Greek army of Epirus. The Allies were pushed back to the Thermopylae line. The loss of air bases in Larissa forced evacuation. So we're going to try to see if we can see it. You can see the lines going all the way from Hungary down through Yugoslavia, obviously capturing Yugoslavia. There's Germany too. Romania, Bulgaria. Yugoslavia was attacked from all sides, and they weren't going to hold out. After they take them, then they go through into Greece. They go through into Greece from Bulgaria as well. They also go through, and then the Albanian front, where the Italians re-attack through, and the Germans probably helped with that as well. And then Greece just gets pushed through, and then we have all of the British troops and a lot of the government of Greece going to Crete and then leaving for Alexandria. Very interesting. British blocked Nono-German attempts to gain control of Iraq. May 2nd to 10th, 1941. Anti-British movement crushed. On May 2nd, a clash occurred between British forces and Iraq troops concentrated at the RAF station at Habanya, near Baghdad. Under the orders of Rashid Ali, the pro-Nono-German premier, who had seized power in Iraq a month previously. Troops fired on the airfield, destroying British aircraft. The British bombed the rebel troops and, with the assistance of loyal Iraqis, expelled them from their positions. At the same time, attacking other airfields where trouble had broken out and destroying a great part of the Iraqi Air Force. Rudaba, an important air station on the oil line, and motor road to Palestine, which had been occupied by the rebels, was retaken by the British on May 10th. After an ultimatum had been dropped by the RAF calling for surrender within an hour. The pictures show, below left, a cavalry squadron of the Transjordan Arab Legion, recruited almost entirely from Bedouin or Arabs, moving out of their camp for patrolling duties in the desert. This force assisted the British in their action against the Iraqi rebels. Top left, armored car crews of the Arab Legion Desert Patrol. Above, armored car company of the RAF advancing into Iraq after the capture of the fort at Rutaba. So there we see the Transjordan Arab Legion going through their desert patrols. There's the armored car of that same legion. And here we see gunning position from there. And then there we see the RAF in their armored cars going through the city. The British obviously are in charge of a lot of this land at this time. And after the war, it'll be split up between a lot of different people. And, cause a lot of the problems we have today. But that's for another time. Yeah, that's going to do it for this video. If you guys liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a comment. Tell me what I can improve on. I always appreciate your feedback. And as always, subscribe. It really helps out the channel more than you ever know. Thank you.